At Aurora University, we have a long history of living our mission as an inclusive community dedicated to the transformative power of learning. I love that our mission begins by stating that we're inclusive. This value defines who we are and helps shape every decision we make and how we make those decisions. Our success lies in collaboration and wholehearted commitment to diversity, equity, and inclusion. By embracing and encouraging diversity in all its forms, we create a campus where unique perspectives and experiences are valued. This environment enables access to novel information and innovative ideas and paves the way for more effective problem solving. In other words, when we bring different perspectives to campus, we learn from one another. And that can happen during a classroom discussion, a student club event, a speaker presentation, or on the playing field. This is why I am dedicated to increasing access to higher education and to preparing students to be leaders who live meaningful lives, are interculturally competent, and civically engaged. As the new president of AU and first Latina president in AU history, I am asking faculty and staff to focus on creative, distinctive opportunities for students, always considering their diverse backgrounds, unique needs, and challenges, and connecting them in a timely fashion to resources that will help them succeed. This means that we need to create opportunities for dialogue centered around the experiences of individuals that may be different from our own. When we are willing to learn about others, it shows we care. When we have empathy, it helps us connect with others more easily and we understand one another better. At AU, demonstrating the values of diversity, equity, and inclusion involves providing access to programs and offices that embrace differences and set all students up for success. We offer students support through the Disability Resource Office, the Pathway Autism Initiative, the Office of Black Student Initiatives, the Office of Latino and Latina Student Initiatives, the Bias Incident Response Team, and the Safe Zone Training Program, and through our Chief Diversity Officer and committees focused on DEI efforts. We also support DEI through our athletics programming. We invite and recruit prospective student athletes with different backgrounds from all over the country, even the world, to become AU Spartans. Our coaches not only focus on winning, but they emphasize service and programming to help improve our communities. Aurora University students, faculty, staff, and coaches thrive on being part of a relationship-intensive institution where we embrace and celebrate diversity by openly sharing our opinions, perspectives, and ideas with each other on campus and through our interactions with those in the community. This is how we empower all students to achieve lasting personal and professional success. Go Spartans!
I chose AU because of the environment and because of all of the people. It's really so welcoming.
I was looking for a campus that was really easy to get involved in while also having fun, having a lot of social events.
I like living on campus because I get to meet a ton of new people. I love my family, but being away from them is how you grow.
I love working with my classmates and seeing how they learn things differently. It's been the most wonderful experience when some of them have told me, you know, you will make a great teacher, and that has meant the world to me.
My coaches and professors have really helped me. My coach, he's really about more than just basketball, you know, how's nursing going, how are your classes?
Learning from a textbook is completely different than learning hands-on, and so it's been great to take what I've learned in the classroom and to physically see it in front of me.
I think it's important to get involved just because I'm able to meet a lot of new people, get a different perspective. On campus, I'm involved with the music program here where I play trombone, and then I'm also involved with the Black Student Union.
Aurora is the second largest city in Illinois, so I think job connections-wise, it's really perfect.
At the Student Success Center, they will help you find a job and help you through all the processes needed for that.
The biggest takeaway so far from being here at AU is that I am right where I belong.
Your future, our promise. They're saying, we're here cultivating your experience and we are setting you up for your future.
I would recommend AU because the faculty and staff are highly supportive of you. They care about your grades, they care about your well-being, and they also care about your team and how they're doing as well.
Because of the location, it was convenient for my family to come watch, and there's a lot of things going on near the city, and there was just a lot of opportunity here, so I think that really attracted me to come here.
Everybody wants to succeed, whether it's students, your teammates, or the faculty. They just all want you to succeed, and that just makes a really nice environment to make you strive to be your best.
It's a smaller campus, so everybody kind of knows everyone, and I'm able to talk to coaches and teachers. They always ask how I'm doing, even if I'm not on their team or in their class.
It's a state-of-the-art facility when it comes to a Division III. I mean, we can't really ask for much more. AU to me feels like home because of the people. They just welcome me, and I just feel very encouraged in my classes, and I think they all just make me better in every aspect.
I decided to come here because of the academics that they provide and their storied athletic program as well. They have a lot of conference championships here. I have two passions, doing soccer and being a part of the music program. And I think that's a big reason why I chose D3 is all the opportunities it provides.
Being a Spartan is so much more than just the mascot that's on the field. It's really deep down as a team, those qualities that you cultivate together.
University Spartan Stadium at Spartan Athletic Park for today's Northern Athletics Collegiate. Test, 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 test. There we go. Hello and welcome to Aurora University Spartan Stadium at Spartan Athletic Park for today's Northern Athletics Collegiate Conference Tournament first round matchup between the visiting Edgewood Eagles and the Aurora Spartans. Hello everyone, I'm Chris Rouse coming to you live here in Aurora, and today it's going to be the opening round of the quarterfinals of the conference tournament. The Aurora Spartans come in with a record of 11-5 on the season, a perfect 11-0 in conference play. Imagine starting the season with 5 straight losses and then turning it all around by winning 11 straight to claim the top seed. Well, that's the path the Aurora Spartans have taken this season as they get ready to take on the 8th seed, the Edgewood Eagles. Edgewood coming in with a record of 5-10, 4-7 in conference play, and also looking to get the upset and get revenge today against the Aurora Spartans. Back when these two teams met on April the 5th, 2025, Aurora with an 18-4 win over Edgewood. That was up, of course, in Madison, where the Edgewood Eagles were the home team. Edgewood jumped out to an early 2-0 advantage, but it was 14 straight goals from the Spartans, which helped them turn around their fate and come away with, at the time, was only their 6th win of the season. I'm Chris Rouse joining you all in here to Aurora. We get ready for the NAC quarterfinals, but also we'd like to thank some of our partners and sponsors of Aurora Spartans Athletics. First, Kaufman GMC Aurora, Elite Management Properties, and Raising Cane's Oswego. Once again, we'd like to thank all of our partners and, of course, all of our staff and crew that have helped us put together today's broadcast and, of course, this entire season of Aurora Spartans Lacrosse. This is an Aurora team. You expect them to be a high-powered offense. They are outscored opponents by over 100 goals this season, and they look to keep that trend going today as they take on the Edgewood Eagles. Again, when these two teams met, Aurora had the 18-4 win, but it was 3 players able to come away with hat tricks for the Spartans as they got that 18-4 win. It was Chris Bucci who had 3 goals, along with Rylan Pora as well as Ben Strub. So let's see if this Aurora team, if they can send the fans home happy here, the home fans home happy with a victory as they begin the NAC tournament. Elsewhere in the conference, the 6th seed Illinois Tech Scarlet Hawks are taking on the 3 seed Concordia University of Wisconsin Falcons. The 7th seed Benedictine will take on Dubuque, and then the matchup that's important to these two teams, the Spartans and Eagles. The winner of this one will take on the winner of the 5-4 matchup between the MSOE Raiders and the 4 seed Lake Forest Foresters. It's a beautiful day here in Aurora, 57 degrees, 8 miles per hour winds towards the northeast. But Aurora, as you can see down on the field with the white uniforms and blue numbers, get ready to go up against the Edgewood Eagles, who have the red uniforms with the white numbers in black trim. We'll take a quick breather, and when we return, the national anthem and the starting lineups, all for you here from Aurora as we begin the NAC quarterfinals after this quick break. Aurora University promote good sportsmanship by student athletes, coaches, and spectators. Back here at Aurora Spartan Park, the Edgewood Eagles and the 8th seed Edgewood Eagles taking on the 1 seed Aurora Spartans. Chris Rouse here on the call as we get ready for the playing of the national anthem and the announcement of the starting lineups. And other disciplinary actions. Aurora University asks that you be loud, be proud, and be positive. Hello and welcome to Aurora University Spartan Stadium at Spartan Athletic Park for today's
Northern Athletics Collegiate Conference Tournament quarterfinal matchup between the visiting Eagles of Edgewood College and your Aurora University Spartans. Before we begin play, we ask that everyone please rise and kindly remove your hats as we honor America with the playing of our national anthem. Now, here are today's starting lineup. First, for Edgewood, on attack, number 1, Lake Rui. Number 7, Tyler Stockwell. And number 10, Nick Orozco. At midfield, number 12, Zane Neville. Number 28, CJ Mandile. And number 99, Sean Callan. On defense, number 6, Ryan Hanrahan. Number 18, Bennett Clothé. And number 27, Luke Quackenbush. In goal for Edgewood is number 62, Logan Cyril. And now, the starters for your Spartans. The attackman, number 4, Tyler Forstall. Number 43, Rylan Pura. And number 51, Griffin Jowett. At midfield, number 20, Austin Spokely. Number 25, Owen Spencer. And number 28, Eli Etzler. On defense, number 15, Benjamin Jasper. Number 19, Zach Klug. And number 32, Noah Kosmicki. In goal for your Spartans is number 35, Asher Deputy. Your Spartans are led by head coach Reed Mayberry.
Starting lineups have been introduced, and now we get ready for the opening draw control. Let's quickly recap the numerical order of the starting lineups. First, for the visiting Edgewood College Eagles, they'll have number 1, Lake Rui. Number 6, Ryan Hanrahan. Number 7, Tyler Stockwell. Number 10, Nick Orozco. Also joining them will be number 12, Zane Neville. Number 18, Bennett Classe. Number 27, Luke Quackenbush. Number 28, CJ Mandile. And they also will have number 99, Sean Callan. Meanwhile, in goal will be number 62, Logan Searles. On the other end, for the Aurora Spartans, numerically, this is how Aurora will start today. They'll have number 4, Tyler Forstall. Number 15, Benjamin Jasper. Number 19, Zach Klug. Number 20, Austin Spokely. Number 25, Owen Spencer. Number 28, Eli Etzler. Number 32, Noah Kosmicki. The goalkeeper will be number 35, Asher Deputy. And number 43, Rylan Pora. And number 51, Griffin Joas rounds it out for the Spartans. The Eagles are led by head coach Garrett Wolford in his 4th season. Reed Mayberry leading the Spartans. And we've got an early whistle on the opening draw control. And it appears that the opening draw will favor Aurora as we begin here at Spartan Athletic Park. Here come the Spartans with Forstall going for goal in a hurry. The Spartans open the score 13 seconds in. It is Forstall finding the back of the net. Forstall this season with an unassisted goal to start it out for the Spartans. And just like that, Aurora picking up where they've left off in their last 11 games. They've won 11 straight. Forstall with 33 now goals on the season. Had 32 goals, 12 assists coming into the season, into this matchup. That goal there, his 33rd time finding the back of the net as he opens the scoring only 13 seconds in for the Spartans. Here's the draw control between Callan, and he goes up against Etzler, and it's Aurora in possession with Etzler crossing midfield. Spartans working on that far side now with Joas. Quick pass for Aurora. Let's see how, with the Spartans already all up to a 1-0 advantage and playing pretty aggressively towards the net. Let's see how they attack, and they go right to the front of the front door again. It's Griffin Joas with the second goal, and just like that, the Spartans jump out to a 2-goal advantage. Joas with his 20th goal of the season. Pora, who has been the assist leader this year for the Spartans, that's his 38th assist. Remember when these two teams met back in April, Edgewood scored the first 2 goals, and then Aurora struck for 14 straight before Edgewood was able to find themselves with another goal in the matchup. Aurora ended up with an 18-4 win. It looks like the Spartans sort of remembered how tough that opening quarter was against Edgewood in their first meeting, and they wanted to jump on the Eagles in a hurry here. Spartans already in control of another draw here as the first quarter continues. Aurora wasting no time here as the 1 seed, establishing their dominance against the 8 seed Eagles. Here comes Edgewood now with their first chance in the offensive zone today. It's Tyler Stockwell. It'll be Stockwell and Rui along with Orozco up front for the Eagles. Edgewood now just trying to at least take some of the air out of the sails of the Spartans, and now there's a pass into the front of the cage. It goes wide, and then as the shot from Orozco, and Aurora on the back line first, they'll take over on the errant shot from Orozco. Asher Deputy passes it out. He plays it up the field to Zach Klug. Quick play to Dean Romaker. That ball dislodged defensively by James Borgart. And now here is Borgart after the scoop. The ground ball pickup for Edgewood. Lake Rui, junior out of Stoughton, Wisconsin, goes for a pass into the front of the cage. He was looking for Brady Hunn. That pass mishandled, but it's ground ball pickup for Kosmicki and Aurora. Asher Deputy plays it over to Zach Klug. Spartans going up the field. Here is Chris Bucci. Mentioned Chris Bucci had a hat trick when these two teams met back on April the 5th. He's trying to play it up the field. Was Bucci was looking for Pura. That goes out of play, and Edgewood will take over. And now we got a whistle following the pass intended for Pura going long and out of play, giving Edgewood possession. They'll take over behind the cage. But now we got a few substitutions here from both teams as the officials, I think we're going to get I'm not sure if we got a foul here. Actually, no, this looks like they're just going to reset, and the ball will be played in behind the cage. And it appears it'll be Aurora with Carson Leader to resume the action for the Spartans. I'm hearing word that there was a penalty down there, but regardless, Aurora will take over. So it appeared that maybe that should have been Edgewood possession. So the penalty. So Stockwell was offside, so Aurora will take over via the penalty. Here's a shot for the Spartans and another goal as Aurora strikes with Strub finding the back of the net. He had 24 goals in regular season play, and he strikes for the 3rd goal of the game for Aurora. Strub had the hat trick against Edgewood when they met on April the 5th. Strub earlier this season, 24 goals, 9 assists. That's his 25th of the season. And the Spartans, once again, making it clear they are the 1 seed in the NAC already out to a 3-goal advantage. Aurora was able to activate the running clock rules when these two teams met. If you're unfamiliar with NCAA Division III lacrosse, if a team has a 10-goal advantage, the game will be played under running clock rules as long as there's a double-digit advantage. And Aurora, it appears that they're not trying to waste any time getting back to those running clock rules here. Edgewood going to try to burn a timeout to settle themselves down. We'll take a quick break with them here. It's 3-0 Spartans, 12:32 remaining in the first quarter. You're watching the first round. You're watching the quarterfinals of the NAC Men's Lacrosse Tournament here from Spartan Park. Back here at Spartan Stadium at Spartan Athletic Park in Aurora, the Aurora Spartans off to a 3-goal advantage here against the Edgewood Eagles as action resumes with Edgewood on offense and not pushing towards the goal with Nick Orozco. We've seen Orozco take a shot already. Now here's his second attempt, but a great save there from Asher Deputy, the sophomore out of South Jordan, Utah. And here come the Spartans on offense. Griffin Joas was the intended target of that pass, and he actually was pretty roughed up there by a pair of Edgewood Eagles on that far sideline. And it appears Edgewood will take over offensively. And it will continue. Action continues now with James Borgart for the Eagles. Nick Orozco. Orozco being defended here by Benjamin Jasper. Jasper, the senior out of Tacoma, Washington. Great turn and a shot for the net. Goes wide for Edgewood as Tyler Stockwell is on the back line for the Eagles. When these two teams met on April the 5th, Edgewood with 23 shots, 11 of which were on goal. Aurora with 78 shots, 39 of which were on goal, plus 55 in shot attempts. Edgewood, that pass actually went out of play there intended for Rui on the far side here. Stockwell trying to apply the pressure behind Romiker. Tyler Forstall. Forstall zigging and zagging through Eagles defenders. Towards the front of the net, he goes for goal, but the ball saved by Logan Searles. This is the 16th game played for Searles this season for Edgewood. In the regular season, 139 goals allowed, 1185 goal against average for a grand total of 153 saves. Edgewood with Luke Quackenbush. Quackenbush made the pass over to Tashinsky, whose shot went wide. And the ball picked up again by Edgewood. They go for goal, and they find the top of the net. That shot inside from Brady Hunn. Hunn with his 11th goal of the season. And that definitely settled the Eagles down here as Aurora has jumped on them pretty early. They jumped on them aggressively in this first 5 minutes. Edgewood able to retaliate with a goal out in front of the net. Hunn, the senior.
Assistant number 1, Lake Rui.
Hunn, the senior out of Waukesha, Wisconsin, assisted by the junior out of Stoughton, Wisconsin, Lake Rui. Rui had 10 assists on the season, add 1, make it 11. And now the draw control as action resumes with Callan for Edgewood going up against Mandile for Aurora. Aurora comes away with the ground ball pickup. It's Connor Lang. Connor Lang just looking for an outlet to pass. He finally drops it off to Forstall, who had a bit of an issue handling the ball. Forstall, pretty good battle there between Forstall and Andrew Stitch. And Stitch wins the battle, and that'll give Edgewood possession. However, they're on their defensive side of the field as Stitch resumes action with the crossfield pass over to Hanrahan. Ryan Hanrahan played it up to Maddox Tashinsky. Tashinsky, the sophomore out of Round Lake Beach. The pass goes to Orozco, and Orozco, while falling to the turf, finds the net. That was a pretty good cross-body shot there from Orozco as he was able to beat Asher Deputy. And maybe the timeout is exactly what Edgewood needed, as they were able to settle themselves down And Orozco with their second goal. We haven't even played 5 full minutes here in this first quarter. Already 5 goals between the two teams. And this could be a pivotal draw control here if Edgewood can win possession and possibly score. But then again, if you're Aurora, who did win the draw control, you can gain some breathing room just like that, as that is Eli Etzler, the junior out of Frederick, Maryland, with his second goal of the season. Etzler only had 1 goal in the regular season, but now here in conference tournament time, he comes up with his second of the season, and that's a huge goal. I was just mentioning how that could be a pivotal score depending on who got the goal. It was Aurora who got it, and they now have some breathing room. They go back up by 2 on the scoreboard. It'll be Etzler again in the draw control, and he'll go up this time against Caden Caldwell. Pretty good battle between the two going for the draw control, Etzler and Caldwell. Looked like a bit of a rugby battle for a brief moment before the ball was picked up by Aurora. Tyler Forstall. Forstall facing pressure here in the offensive zone for the Spartans. Forstall working it around Nabucci. And now here's Carson Leader. Carson Leader holding out high. That's a pretty good spot. He's got a centering opportunity. Instead, Aurora goes behind the net. Wouldn't be surprised if they go back to Leader here. And here is Leader. Griffin set himself up in front of the net. Instead, Forstall tried to shoot it. His shot goes wide. But Aurora to the back line. They will maintain possession. Ben Strub. Strub has Leader cutting to the net. Instead, now Strub appears as he will take Leader's spot out high. Strub to the front of the net. The shot saved, knocked down as well by Searles. Searles able to turn away the Spartans. They've had 62 in red's number here in the early going, but he was able to knock one down and allow Edgewood to sort of counterattack here with Lake Rui already charging towards the net. Pressure defensively from Noah Kosmicki. Kosmicki able to force the turnover as he comes up with the ground ball pickup. Benjamin Jasper working towards midfield. Jasper over to Strub. And now Aurora getting their substitutions in behind the play. Owen Spencer. Spencer also awaiting his support. It comes in the form of Connor Bolton. First time we've mentioned Bolton today. Bolton with 15 goals, 3 assists on the season. Senior out of Fort Wayne, Indiana. Cranges goes inside. He passes off. Over to Owen Spencer. Spencer has it out high. Looking over to Bolton. Instead, they go to Forstall. Aurora working in behind the cage here. They got Griffin Joas right in front of the net. Doing a good job sort of creating that diversion for the keeper, Searles. There's a shot towards Searles, but it goes wide. Aurora on the back line with Rylan Pura. Pura, the assist leader this season for the Spartans. 37 assists in regular season action. Owen Spencer. Spencer over to Joas. Joas going behind the cage. Mishandled pass, but right back to Joas. Here's another pass. Joas setting up Cranges, who was right in front. His shot went wide. And again, Aurora will maintain possession, but they only have 3 on the shot clock. Should get a... Yeah, I was about to say they should have just rolled this one in and let the shot clock expire here. And that's exactly what they're going to do with Pura. And Aurora will be allowed to keep the pressure on that back line. Long crossfield pass for Edgewood. That ball caught out in front by James Borgart. Borgart with a long run to get into the offensive zone for Edgewood. He passes it off to Alec Maurer. Maurer, a grad student out of Middleton, Wisconsin. And also now Maurer will check off. He'll come off the pitch here, come off the field in favor of Brady Hunt. Brady Hunt now in possession with just 7 minutes to go here in the first quarter. A lot of action if you missed that first 5 minutes. 5 goals in under 5 minutes. Edgewood was able to finally strike after Aurora scored 3 straight to begin the matchup. Tyler Stockwell. Stockwell gave it up. You see Edgewood really just sort of wheeling out, sort of retreating just to get away from that defensive pressure from Aurora. Here's Borgart. Ball goes to Orozco out in front of the net. Orozco breaks a double team there. He actually split a double team. His shot, however, deflected away by Deputy. Great save by Asher Deputy. That was just a heads-up play by Deputy. I was sure Orozco had him beat maybe low left our view on the camera. But that was a great save by Deputy with his right hand, which would be his stick, which would be his cross, to keep Edgewood from pulling within a goal. Aurora on offense, and all long pass intended for Romaker goes wide. And now Edgewood will take over. Andrew Stitch. Andrew Stitch is going to play the ball. Actually, we're going to get a timeout here. Stitch will actually play it on when we return. Aurora with a 4-2 advantage over the Edgewood Eagles. 6:07 remaining in the first quarter. You're watching the quarterfinals of the NAC Men's Lacrosse Tournament, coming to you live here from Aurora. Back here at Spartan Athletic Park, here in Aurora, Illinois. It's the quarterfinals of the NAC Men's Lacrosse Tournament. The 1-seed Aurora Spartans taking on the 8-seed Edgewood Eagles. There are 3 other matches going on today. 2 going on as we speak. Illinois Tech, the 6-seed at Concordia University of Wisconsin. And, of course, the matchup important to these 2 teams, the 5-seed MSOE Raiders are taking on the 4-seed, the Lake Forest Foresters. And that matchup in the third period, Lake Forest with a 15-3 advantage with 2:58 remaining in the third period. So as it stands at the moment, the winner of this matchup could very well be on to a collision course for a second-round matchup against the Lake Forest Foresters. Aurora in possession here, and the Spartans now taking over after a quick Edgewood possession. Spartans going to the goal, and a score for Ben Strub. He's found the net twice already as he beats Logan Searles again. Remember, Strub had a hat trick against Edgewood earlier this season. It's an unassisted goal for Strub, and now Aurora out to an early 5-2 advantage with 5:47 remaining in the first quarter. Aurora, usually when you see a team jump out to a 5-2 advantage early on, you think, well, maybe they're just working the ball around and getting quality shots. Aurora, they've been very patient. They've been patient as of late, but those first 4 goals, pretty much like that one from Strub, it's been a lot of just go right to the front of the net, take that shot, and Strub puts it in the back of the net. Ground ball pickup controlled by Edgewood. Aurora showing plenty of activity and physicality, trying to gain the ground ball here. Orozco's been successful for a couple of goals early on. Now he's met by Klug defensively. Passes it off to Maddox Tushinsky. Tushinsky, the sophomore out of Round Lake Beach, 19 goals, 12 assists on the season for the Edgewood Eagles. Tushinsky working around Romaker. Good support coming defensively from Easton Larson. That forces the errant pass for Edgewood. And Aurora will take over with Noah Kosmicki. Kosmicki passes up the pitch, looking for Romaker. And now Romaker over to Pura. And here's the setup man for Aurora. Pora actually, he had a man on the far side. Good help defense from Edgewood in front. That was C.J. Mandile, who was able to knock the ball down. It appeared they had Joas on the backside. He was running towards the net, but the deflection will keep Aurora from getting the shot attempt. And now Edgewood, another long pass, too far for the intended target, and it negates any opportunity that the Eagles would have had at going for the goal. Romaker. Quick pass over to Pora. Aurora now working towards the net. Beautiful day here in Aurora, Illinois. Sun certainly shining brightly off the turf here at Spartan Athletic Park. Strub has it out high for the Spartans. He and Leader sort of switch spots there as Aurora gets into their offensive set. Griffin Joas. Joas has certainly been active here in the early going for the Spartans. Carson Leader. Leader in behind the net. Leader had a setup, but a great coverage by Edgewood defensively. The shot from Forstall saved by Searles. And now that'll allow the Eagles to play it out with Zane Neville. Neville over to Stitch. Edgewood working towards midfield. That was a nice spin move on the dodge by Borgart. And now Borgart running to the far side of the field. Pressured defensively by Austin Spokley. Spokley, the junior out of Eagle, Idaho. Tashinsky. Maddox Tashinsky working towards the net. Good defense by Romaker. Romaker's been all over the field here, specifically out near midfield. And now we got a flag. Going to be a penalty against Aurora. We'll get the penalty on the next stoppage. 2:45 and counting here in the first quarter. As Tashinsky makes a move towards the front of the net. His pass actually leads to a shot for Luke Quackenbush. Shot bounces wide, but Edgewood able to maintain possession to hold off the penalty for just a little bit longer. It's Tyler Stockwell. Stockwell pressured by Jasper. Here's a pass for Orozco out in front of the net, and Orozco scores. That was a good feed by Edgewood. Actually, a couple of quick passes. Stockwell found Borgart, and then Borgart hit Orozco, who hit the back of the net. And now Edgewood, again, they find the net to cut into that Aurora lead, but the Spartans still leave it 5-3 with 2:22 to go in the first quarter. Good feed by Borgart, who on the season coming into today's matchup had 13 goals and 10 assists. And he finds Orozco, who once again had 32 goals on the season to lead the way for the Edgewood Eagles. And he's got 2 in this one. This is now a 5-3 Spartans advantage.
Penalty on Aurora, number 14, Dean Romaker, 1 minute for slashing. This results in a man up for Edgewood.
So a man advantage here for Edgewood following the penalty against Romaker. And now Edgewood, let's see if they can take advantage of it here. It would only be about a 30-second penalty. But they're trying to get their offense set with Borgart. In behind the cage. Long pass goes wide. That one's going to go actually all the way back to the Edgewood bench. And Aurora will be able to pick this one up in their offensive zone. Ben Strub in possession of the ball here for the Spartans. Remember, they're down a man here, but able to take over following, again, another tough pass for Edgewood. Edgewood turning the ball over really too much of their own volition. A lot of unforced errors via these wild passes here in the first quarter. Spartans working on the far side with Strub, who's really just holding the ball here to waste time on the penalty. Edgewood just sitting there and watching the Spartans as they run the clock down. And now Aurora comes back on. Bit of a questionable strategy there. That usually with a man advantage, you would expect to see Edgewood be the aggressive team, but not the case there. They just let Aurora just run the penalty down. And Forstall, following the penalty, he was in possession, and he pretty much passed one long. Edgewood gave Aurora the ball back on a wild pass, and vice versa there for Forstall. 1 minute remaining here in the opening quarter. Physicality out near midfield. Ball knocked loose. Oh, and that was an interesting play for Pura, who scooped the ball up on the ground, ball pickup, but it went about a good 5 feet in the air. And a bit of a collision between Pura and Stitch. And Stitch clearly holding that ankle after he and Pura collided out at about the 38-yard line here on the football field. Never want to see anyone get hurt, as you can see Stitch certainly hobbling here as he tries to, it appears he's just trying to walk this one off. It is a good sign that he is on his feet, but he's going to be attended to by the training staff as they're going to try to get Stitch off the field. Andrew Stitch, the senior out of Kenosha, Wisconsin, and once again being helped off by the training staff. We've seen him pretty active defensively early on for the Edgewood Eagles. Only 1 goal on the season for Stitch, but it's once again, he's a defenseman. You'll see him more with the physicality provided for the Eagles. And now that they've gotten Stitch off the field, play resumes for the final 44 seconds and counting. Forstall finding Dylan Cranges. Nice pass by Cranges. He sets up the outside shot opportunity, but it's a wide shot from Owen Spencer, the junior out of Blaine, Minnesota. You can see that play developing. Just not the final result desired for the Spartans, but they maintain possession. Final 20 seconds. Griffin Joas over to Cranges. Here's another chance for Spencer. That one on the target for Owen Spencer. He had 19 goals in the regular season. He scores here with just 10 seconds to spare in the first quarter. Tyler Forstall with the assist, and that was a great play for Aurora. At first you don't succeed, try again. They tried to set up Spencer the first time. Shot went wide. This time he was able to beat the keeper Searles to double up the Eagles on the scoreboard. It's now 6-3 Spartans. 10 1/10 of a second remaining in the first quarter. And let's see if we even gain possession before this quarter comes to a close. We've got a pretty good battle. The whistle will favor Edgewood. They'll take over offensively, but that will end the first quarter here at Spartan Athletic Park. This is the first quarter of the NAC Men's Lacrosse Tournament. The Spartans with a 6-3 advantage over the Edgewood Eagles. We'll be back with more NAC Men's Lacrosse action here on the other side of this break. Back here at Spartan Stadium at Spartan Athletic Park in Aurora, Illinois. You're watching the quarterfinals, the first round matchup of the Northern Athletics Collegiate Conference Men's Lacrosse Tournament. The 1-seed Aurora Spartans with a 6-3 advantage over the 8-seed Edgewood Eagles. I'm Chris Rouse here on the call. We'd like to thank all of our crew as well as our partners here that have provided us Aurora Men's Lacrosse all season. Once again, our partners, Kaufman GMC Aurora, Elite Management Properties, and Raising Cane's Oswego. We'd like to thank once again all of our partners all season long for helping us provide these broadcasts to you all season long. We'd also like to thank you, the viewer, listener, however you may be enjoying this piece of entertainment on this Saturday afternoon in Aurora, that have been able to join us for Spartan Athletics all season. This is an Aurora team that once again they lost their first 5 matches of the season before rallying back to win 11 straight, unbeaten in conference play, controlling the NAC. And here they are with an 11-5 record. and out to an early 3-goal advantage against the 8 seed, the Edgewood Eagles. Edgewood 5-10 on the regular season, 4-7 in conference play. Aurora able to control the opening draw, control of the second quarter, and just almost as quickly as they scored to begin the game, they score that quickly here in the second quarter with Griffin Joes. Forstall and Joes, seems that's the money combination here for Aurora, as they've been able to just really work that ball to the front of the net and just really just work it right past Logan Searles here in the early going. Spartans leading it by 4, only 7 seconds in to the second quarter. Remember when these two teams met back on April 5th, Aurora had 78 shots in comparison to 23 for Edgewood, plus 55 in the shot column. In terms of shots on goal, it was 39-11, so plus 28 for Aurora in terms of shots on goal. But where it really mattered on the scoreboard, 18-4, as Aurora rallied back from a 2-goal deficit. Spartans trying to score here with a shot from Spencer, who scored in that first quarter, but his shot goes wide. Spartans on the back line with Pura. Rylan Pura, the assist leader for the Spartans, will resume action. He plays it over here to Dylan Cranges. Quick passing from Aurora. They go to Spencer again. In behind the cage. Back up top to Cranges. Cranges defended by Ryan Tolbert, number 3 for Edgewood, before passing behind the cage to Forstall. Plenty of time on the shot clock here, about 28. Griffin Joes. Joes stutter steps towards the front of the net. His shot actually hits Searles, and it ricochets out of play. Aurora again on the back line, so they'll maintain possession. Forstall. Over to Joes. This is where Edgewood has had problems. When Joes and Forstall have been able to get set maybe within about 10 feet of each other here. But now the ball goes up high to Pura. Oh, they had see the ball miss Joes. They go to Forstall. Wouldn't be surprised if he passed it. Oh, he tried the backhand no-look it there. But instead the shot goes wide to beat the shot clock. No goal for Aurora. Looked pretty good, but unfortunately not the result that the Spartans wanted on the shot. Edgewood to take over offensively now. They've got a long way to go to get a shot on Asher Deputy on the other net. Zane Neville. Neville Jr. out of Salt Lake City, Utah. And now Edgewood, they've had plenty of problems just clearing, getting out of their defensive zone as Aurora takes over with Forstall. That was good pressure from Forstall. Also, Pura was there as well. Chris Bucci. Bucci with plenty of space to work, but he'll pass off to Strub. Strub has found the back of the net a few times early on here. Ball goes in behind the cage to Forstall. It's patient offense. Here's that patient offense from Aurora. We saw them strike in a hurry in that first quarter. Ball goes wide and out of play. And Aurora able to maintain possession. Rylan Pura. Gives it up to leader. Griffin Joes. Joes in possession here. And he tries to work to the front of the net. Joes over to Strub. That pass goes wide. Edgewood will take over offensively in their defensive zone. Now, once again, they've had a hard time clearing. As you can see, Aurora already setting their defense with Pura and Joes on the ball. Alec Maurer with the tough task of trying to clear for the Eagles. Aggressiveness from Pura. Oh, that's a pretty tough hit on the far side by Ramaker. Here comes Edgewood. Able to evade the physicality and get the ball up the field anyway, where the Eagles with Hun now. Here's Orozco. And Now Edgewood trying to get back defensively. The shot going wide this time from Strub as that goes out of play. Edgewood again did a good job of forcing a miss there, but now the Spartans take over in behind the net as they're able to get Pura in behind the cage. In that first quarter, Aurora with 13 shots, Aurora with only 9. But Aurora also winning the ground ball pickup stat with 11 to 10. A lot of that has been the troubles for Edgewood to clear here in this early going. And now here come the Spartans. Spencer. Spencer over to Bolton. Bolton gave it up and then got it right back. Now here's Spencer again. Oh, Spencer with a nice move to try to evade the defender in Quackenbush. Ball gets ricocheted away and it'll go out of play. And Aurora takes over offensively. 60 seconds on the shot clock here for the Spartans. Rylan Pura. Pura passed it off. I thought maybe he's going to try to go to the net there and then drop one off to Joas. Here's Forstall. Forstall gave it up. Aurora with a number of bodies pretty much in the same area. Tough for the Spartans to do anything there. They find Spencer. Put a couple of moves on Bennett Classe, but couldn't get the shot. Griffin Joas. Another pass that goes wide. Again, Aurora on that back line. That's actually a shot, so they'll stay with Aurora. If it was had that been a pass, it would have gone over to Edgewood. Pura working to the net. That's what I thought he was going to do the first time he had it, but Searles makes the save. Good job by Searles getting the cross up to make the save. It was a good job by Logan Searles. Edgewood offensively in possession here with James Borgart. And now a timeout. 9:48 to go here in the second quarter. Spartans with a 4-goal advantage. They lead at 7-3. We'll be back with more after this break. It's an Edgewood timeout. Spartans by 4. You're watching the NAC quarterfinals here. Coming to you live from Spartan Athletic Park in Aurora. (7-3) Aurora Spartans with the lead. 9:48 to go in the second period. As the Spartans, the 1 seed in the NAC men's lacrosse standings, taking on the team with the 8th seed, the Edgewood Eagles. Edgewood just searching for answers here against Aurora. Aurora certainly brought the physicality in this first half. We've seen Edgewood really struggle to get across midfield on plenty of their clearing opportunities, but luckily this time Edgewood starting in their offensive zone here with Lake Rui now. Working towards the net. Noah Kosmicki able to dislodge the ball and win possession. Bit of a wild pass in front of the cage, and then it's mishandled by Klug. Now a chance for Edgewood with Borgart. Borgart's pass and a shot sets up the goal for Rui. That was a good play by Borgart as he was able to take advantage of Aurora. I don't even know if I want to call that overzealous or not really sure how to describe that. It was a dangerous pass over the cage. It was just mishandled. Borgart was able to come up with the pickup and easily found Rui, who hit the back of the net. Just feel like the Spartans were just in a hurry to try to clear, and we haven't seen Aurora lose their composure much here in the early going. But that was one where it just felt as if the Spartans sort of were in a hurry to try to get back across midfield. And the mishandled pass led to the ground ball pickup, which led to the quick shot and goal from Rui. That was Borgard again on the ground ball pickup and the assist as he hit Rui for the goal. Rui had 27 goals in regular season action for Edgewood this season. Adds one here in the conference tournament. Carson Leader. Leader working against Hanrahan. And a save from Searles. Searles has certainly seen his fair of shots here in the early going. And here's where the problems for Edgewood have intensified throughout this first half, trying to clear, but they clear successfully this time with Alec Maurer. Maurer on a bit of a shovel pass there, gives it back to Tashinsky, Maddox Tashinsky, the sophomore out of Round Lake Beach, Illinois. You see the Edgewood coaching staff led by head coach Garrett Wolford. Wolford in his 4th season, giving the instructions to Tashinsky here. They're just trying to settle down, maybe take the air out of this Aurora attack here in the early going. Borgard. Borgard has certainly had an impact. He hit Rui for the last shot and goal. Rui with the pass. We got a bit of a shoulder collision there between Tashinsky and Romaker wins the ground ball pickup. Good effort there from Dean Romaker, the junior, out of Andover, Minnesota. Owen Meyer. He gave the ball up quickly for Aurora as now they get into their offensive set. Owen Spencer. 7.5 minutes to go here in the first half. Spencer plays it back to Tashinsky. To Kranjus. Travis Weishadow out there, number 45, out of Lake Oswego, Oregon. Here is Weishadow. Weishadow made a move towards the cage, but forced away by Ryan Hanrahan. Aurora working to the outside. The shot goes wide. Spartans trying to get that cross out in front. Let's see if Connor Stockton was successful. And Stockton was, the senior out of Tacoma, Washington. Salvages possession for Aurora. Owen Spencer. Spencer goes in behind the cage. Wouldn't be surprised if you see Spencer cut to the front of the net here. It appeared that's as if what Aurora was trying to do. Kranjus was looking for Spencer, but now Edgewood takes it away with Searles. Searles with a long lob out in front. Bit of a dangerous pass. Nice save by Borgard in the behind-the-back pass into traffic, but it's picked up by Aurora. Great effort by Borgard. Unfortunately, he found the opposing team, but now Borgard using his body to force the turnover. 6:15 to go here in the half. Coming up at halftime, we will have halftime stats. Also, update you on the other 2 matchups going on right now in the NAC Men's Lacrosse Tournament. If you're just joining us, Illinois Tech taking on Concordia University of Wisconsin. And also, the winner of this one will see the winner of MSOE versus Lake Forest. That matchup headed to the 4th quarter as we speak. Here's Rui. Rui able to play it back to Maddox Tashinsky. Tashinsky trying to work his way around Scotty Weiss. Instead, he'll pass it off to Luke Quackenbush. Quackenbush takes the check from Spokley. Here's a shot, sidewinder. That one saved by Asher Deputy. That one got on him pretty quickly. He was able to, bit of a reflex parry to knock that ball away. Here's Spokley. And now he gives it up to the near side, to Joas. Joas goes down right in front of Searles, and that draws a couple of penalty flags here. As Joas just went down right in front of the net here. And we're going to get the official call here on the man up. I think the argument there is that maybe he was tripped going to the net. There were a number of bodies that sort of converged on Joas as he got in front. But Aurora will maintain possession here. Spartans with 22 shots to this point of the matchup.
Edgewood penalty number 6, Ryan Hanrahan, 30 seconds for holding.
And they're going to give. So the man up for the Spartans is on the hold against Hanrahan. And now here's Aurora offensively. Let's see if they can take advantage of the man up advantage here in the second quarter. There's a shot attempt and a goal for Chris Bucci. As Aurora finally, they get their 8th goal of the matchup. Bucci had 27 regular season goals. He also had 13 regular season assists. And he gets the man up goal here with 4:41 remaining in the match in the second quarter. As Aurora, for the second time, doubles up Edgewood on the scoreboard. It was 6-3 earlier. Actually, that's the third time. It was 4-2. It's 6-3, and now 8-4. Just seems like every time Edgewood cuts into that Aurora lead, Aurora manages to double them up in score total. And a clean draw control victory here for Eli Etzler. There's a shot. That one a little bit off to the right for Owen Smith. First time we've had the opportunity to call Smith's name. Now 4.5 minutes to go with Aurora on offense. Here's Ben Strub. He plays it over to Chris Bucci. Aurora in behind the net. Bucci. Finding Carson Leader. Oh, a bit of a miscommunication there. Strub appeared he was going to cut in. Leader passed it outside. And Edgewood will take over on possession. Just a slight miscommunication there, forcing the turnover. Edgewood looking to clear. Maddox Tashinsky gets into the offensive zone for Edgewood. Fresh 69 seconds here for the Eagles as they take over on the offensive side of the field. See how they work towards the net here. Asher Deputy has made some pretty good saves. He had a nice parry not too long ago. See how Edgewood tries to attack with Borgard. Borgard actually dispossessed. Good effort by Bucci from behind, and Bucci ran it down. He was able to dispossess and come up with the ground ball. Deputy plays it up the field to Strub. Ben Strub. He had Griffin Joas on the outside, but he gives it up this time to Owen Spencer. Spencer right back to him. Spencer and Strub just really going hot potato there before finally Spencer gave it up to Weishottle. Aurora showing off their patience. They go in behind the cage. Cranges over to Weishottle. And right back to Cranges. Cranges trying to work towards the net. Cut off defensively. Good job by Maurer to cut off his path to the net. Outside shot, a bit of a leaping shot attempt there from Spencer. He's hit a few tough ones here in the early going, but unsuccessful on that attempt. And not only unsuccessful in the shot attempt, the exchange off the shot is deflected well out of play. Edgewood will take over with 2:21 to go here in the half. Long pass across the field for Edgewood. Successful this time as Tashinsky gets into the offensive zone for the Eagles. Tashinsky working behind the net. Pass goes outside. Is a shot opportunity to Borgard. Tyler Stockwell. Stockwell's shot deflected away by Deputy and was covered by Deputy. Great defense by Aurora. Deputy's been able to make a few saves, a few highlight reel saves here in the first half. A pair here in the second quarter. Spartans. They had about 3 bodies in front of the cage. They worked it outside to forestall, but the ball goes out of play. Edgewood will take over here. Zane Neville. Neville out near midfield, dispossessed. Spokley able to come up with the ground ball pickup. Spokley could go for goal himself, but it's saved by Searles. Great heads-up play by both players. Spokley to come up with the ground ball and quickly go for goal. Searles to make the save. Just when it appeared as maybe as if Aurora would extend that lead to 9-4. Searles makes a save to keep it where we are on the scoreboard at 8-4. Edgewood would really love, I'm sure they would really love a goal here to capitalize off of that save. Ball goes outside. Here's Borgart. Borgart taking all sorts of physicality. Works through a double team. His shot at Deputy is saved. Good save again. Another highlight for 35 in white. Asher Deputy turning the Eagles back again. Final 20 seconds. Spartans in control of the ball as they work into their offensive zone. You can hear the Aurora sideline saying go here for these final 20 seconds. It's Pora. Pora pass. Actually, I thought he was going to pass it to Joe as he went for the net himself, but it was saved by Searles. Final 4 seconds. Searles with a long lob for Stockwell. Stockwell shot saved by Deputy. High octane action in that final 90 seconds of the half, but unfortunately neither team able to score. And at the break, the Aurora Spartans with an 8-4 advantage over the Edgewood Eagles. It's halftime here at Spartan Athletic Park. When we return, we'll recap the first half stats and also preview the second half. Also give you scores from around the NAC quarterfinals. You're watching the NAC men's lacrosse quarterfinals here in Aurora, Illinois. We'll be back with more after this break.
I chose AU because of the environment and because of all of the people. It's really so welcoming.
I was looking for a campus that was really easy to get involved in while also having fun, having a lot of social events.
I like living on campus because I get to meet a ton of new people. I love my family, but being away from them is how you grow.
I love working with my classmates and seeing how they learn things differently. It's been the most wonderful experience when some of them have told me, you know, you will make a great teacher, and that has meant the world to me.
My coaches and professors have really helped me. My coach, he's really about more than just basketball, you know, how's nursing going, how are your classes?
Learning from a textbook is completely different than learning hands-on, and so it's been great to take what I've learned in the classroom and to physically see it in front of me.
I think it's important to get involved just because I'm able to meet a lot of new people, get a different perspective. On campus, I'm involved with the music program here where I play trombone, and then I'm also involved with the Black Student Union.
Aurora's the second largest city in Illinois, so I think job connections wise, it's really perfect.
At the Student Success Center, they will help you find a job and help you through all the processes needed for that.
The biggest takeaway so far from being here at AU is that I am right where I belong.
Your future, our promise. They're saying, we're here cultivating your experience and we are setting you up for your future.
Back here live at Spartan Athletic Park in Aurora, Illinois. You're watching the quarterfinals of the NAC Men's Lacrosse Tournament. I'm Chris Rouse here on the call. Halftime between the Aurora Spartans and the Edgewood Eagles. Aurora with an 8-4 advantage over the Edgewood Eagles as they look to advance to the next round, where they already know who will be the opponent, but we'll have more on that later. Before we go into our first half stats and preview the second half and scores from around the NAC, we once again like to thank our sponsors for providing Aurora Spartans lacrosse all season: Kaufman GMC Aurora, Elite Management Properties, and Raising Cane's Oswego. Thank you for all that you do in helping bring Aurora Spartans lacrosse to all Aurora Spartan fans. Once again, halftime here, where the Spartans have an 8-4 advantage, more of a tamed second quarter between these two teams after we saw a hotly contested first quarter. Aurora had six goals in the first quarter, 6-3 advantage after one. Only 2 goals for the Spartans in that second quarter in comparison to 1 from Edgewood, but Aurora still ahead where it matters, 8-4. Aurora with 29 shots in that first half, 13 in the first quarter, 16 in the second. Meanwhile, Edgewood had 14, 9 in the first, 5 in the second. Ground ball pickups also favoring the Spartans. They have 26 in comparison to 13 from Edgewood. And another key stat, Edgewood is having a hard time really clearing the ball against Aurora. Both teams have had four opportunities stopped, with Edgewood clearing 13 out of a possible 17 times. Meanwhile, Aurora clearing 11 out of a potential 15. Our goal leaders to this point of the matchup for Aurora, they have 2 players with a pair of goals. Ben Strub with 2, and Griffin Joas also added 2 of his own. Meanwhile, Nick Orozco, he had 2 for Edgewood. He had those 2 very early in the first quarter, as the Spartans, again, with this 4-goal advantage, as we've reached halftime here in this quarterfinal matchup. Elsewhere in the NAC, we've had a couple of games going final. The Concordia University of Wisconsin Falcons, they have defeated the Illinois Tech Scarlet Hawks, so they know that they will move on to the next round here in the NAC men's lacrosse tournament. Meanwhile, elsewhere, the winner of this matchup will see the winner of the 4-5 matchup, which has already been decided. It was a 17-8 win for the Lake Forest Foresters as they defeated the MSOE Raiders. For Lake Forest, pretty much jumped on MSOE the way we saw Aurora do it here against Edgewood. Lake Forest with 6-1 advantage after the first quarter. They were up 11-2 at halftime. And in the second half, Lake Forest with 5 goals in the third. MSOE had 1. Meanwhile, in the fourth quarter, MSOE tried a last gasp effort. They did put up 5 goals in that fourth quarter, holding Lake Forest to only 1, but not enough. As Lake Forest, the 4 seed, has advanced, they will, if results were to hold here at Aurora, Lake Forest would be coming here to Spartan Athletic Park to take on the Aurora Spartans. Meanwhile, Edgewood down 4, still plenty of time to rally back into the matchup. But if they're gonna have their hopes of winning the NAC Conference Tournament stay alive here today, gonna have to do a better job of clearing against the Aurora Spartans. They've had a hard time really just getting out of their defensive zone, as Aurora has done a good job of cutting down the attacks. Elsewhere, we mentioned Concordia University of Wisconsin. They defeated Illinois Tech, so the 3 seed, everything all chalk to this point in the NAC Conference Tournament. So thus far, with Concordia winning 13-5, Illinois Tech really just couldn't find the goal in that matchup. They held scoreless in the second quarter. Meanwhile, Concordia University of Wisconsin, the Falcons, they struck for 3 in each of the first 3 quarters, so they had a 9-2 advantage at the end of the third quarter. And much the same as I mentioned out of MSOE, that last gasp effort for Illinois Tech saw the Scarlet Hawks only score 3 goals in the fourth, while Concordia added 4 of their own to win it 13-5. Still to come in NAC men's lacrosse action. This will be much later in the evening, as the Benedictine Eagles will take on Dubuque in the 2-7 matchup. And thus far, it feels like the pressure is sort of on Dubuque, considering that the other top seeds have already won and they've advanced. So now the pressure could be on these 2 top seeds, Dubuque and Aurora. You see the Spartans already back on the field and ready to begin this third quarter against the Edgewood Eagles. Logan Searles and Asher Deputy, the 2 keepers respectively for their respective squads, have certainly seen their share of shots to this point of the matchup. But as it stands, it's Deputy Squad, the Aurora Spartans, that has the lead as we get ready to begin this third quarter. Chris Rouse here on the call. We're once again glad that you're able to join us on what's a beautiful Saturday here in Aurora. Pretty good breeze up here in the broadcast booth. But now second half action getting ready to begin with this draw control. Edgewood in the red uniforms. They'll be headed left to right on your screen. Aurora heading the opposite direction as now we've got a battle for the draw control between Caden Caldwell and Eli Etzler. Looks like that's going to be a foul against Edgewood as now Aurora will take over offensively. Spartans with their first possession of the second half. It's Tyler Forstall passing it around to Owen Spencer. Spencer with a quick pass over to Cranges and now right back. Bit of a triangle passing setup there for Aurora. So now here's Spencer. Spencer had a pretty impressive goal in that first half as he had a shot top left on this side of the field for the Spartans. Spencer works it out high. Here's Forstall. Forstall, that's about where Spencer shot and scored earlier. Forstall working inside. He's dispossessed by Hanrahan, and a penalty flag hits the field. But it appears that this one, so yes, this will be against Hanrahan. As Forstall went inside, that's likely going to be a slashing penalty against Hanrahan as he was able to dispossess Forstall, but I think he maybe got more of Tyler than he intended to there. As now Aurora. Looks like Aurora just going to take over offensively here with Chris Bucci standing out wide. It appears they are signaling slashing, but then again, now we see Caden Caldwell coming off the field. I'm not sure if this is a man up or maybe we got two penalties here against Edgewood. And it will be a man up event. It will be a man up situation for Aurora. Just one as now Bucci places it over to Forstall to resume action.
Edgewood penalty number 6, Ryan Hanrahan, 1 minute for slashing. This results in a man up for the Spartans.
So the 1 minute penalty for Hanrahan for slashing, just the one penalty. As now Aurora works the ball again around the net. Trying to pull Searles, and they do. They get the goal with Carson Leader striking for the ninth goal of the day.
Man up goal. Scorer number 3, Carson Leader. Assistant number 43, Rylan Pura.
Assisted by Pura, who once again the assist leader all season long, the setup man for this Aurora Spartans roster. He hits Leader. Leader had 14 goals in regular season action for the Spartans. Senior out of Lincoln, Nebraska. Gives Aurora a 5-goal advantage. And you start to wonder at what point do we see that intensity, that physicality pick up for Edgewood here. They're down 5. Time becoming an enemy for the Eagles. Spartans again in possession offensively with Owen Spencer. Spencer works his way around Mandel. Griffin Joas could be the recipient, and he is here out high. Saw Joas set up a bit of a screen there to allow Spencer to turn to the outside. Joas right back to Spencer, who's going to shoot and score. Oh, and Spencer, that has been his spot today. Third shot attempt for Spencer from about that same spot. Second goal. As he's done a great job, really, of just beating Searles, though. A couple of really very good shots for Aurora as Joas gets credited with the assist. And the Spartans back up by 6. Aurora, this is their largest lead of the match thus far. And it's also starting to look eerily similar to that first quarter where we saw the Spartans quickly score and jump ahead of the Eagles. Eagles winning the draw control here, but just another tough pass. And that's sort of been the story of the day for Edgewood. They've had a number of passes that have either been questionable or you could see the target, but the ball is just going wide. That's another one where you can see the target, ball just went wide. Eli Etzler, he gave it up, and now he's going to go back and retreat defensively for Aurora. Tyler Forstall. Forstall gave it up. He gets it right back from Strub. Quick pass over to Bucci. Bucci able to elude the defender, and a goal. That was a nice move by Bucci as he was able to elude Andrew Stitch. Remember, Stitch came off the field earlier with a bit of an ankle injury, but Bucci, with one stutter step, he eluded Stitch, and then he beat Searles, and 3 quick ones for Aurora to begin the third quarter. Spartans lead it by 7, 11-4. 12:44 to go in the third quarter. Edgewood searching for answers. Let's see what they come up with on the other side of this break. You're watching the quarterfinals of the NAC Men's Lacrosse Tournament, coming to you live here in Aurora. Aurora Spartans with an 11-4 lead here over the Edgewood Eagles, and it seems that the Spartans are clicking on all cylinders as they look to push towards the semifinals of the NAC Men's Lacrosse Tournament. Chris Rouse here on the call. Aurora, the 1 seed, taking on the 8 seed Edgewood Eagles. We already know that the 4 seed Lake Forest Foresters will await the winner of this matchup. We look to decide this matchup here in the second half, and Aurora already by 7 as we continue the action. Here are the Spartans offensively. They've been thoroughly in control here through these first 2.5 minutes of this third quarter. The ball has not even gone to the Edgewood side of the field. Tyler Forstall. Passed it over to Leader and right back to Forstall. Ryan Hanrahan picked up the penalty earlier here in the period. And there's a bit of a rocket from Forstall, which goes to the back line. And now the ball comes back up top for Aurora as Strub had a shot. That one was saved away by Searles. Strub runs it down out near midfield. He's got a man beat. He passes off. He leads to a shot attempt and a goal. You can sort of see that one developing for Bucci. Once the play was made out near midfield, and Aurora, they were able to beat that first defender who was chasing down the ball, and Bucci was just standing wide open after Strub got the step on his defender, and he dropped it off for the goal. Bucci had a hat trick when these two teams met back on April the 5th. He's found the net again. He's having a pretty good afternoon for the Spartans. They lead it by 8, 12-4 here in the third period. Aurora certainly feeling it here in the third quarter, and their control of this matchup continues here with Eli Etzler on the scoop up. As he's able to win the ground ball pickup, he gives it over to Spencer. Spartans in control here with Spencer, and now he gives it up to Forstall. Back over to Bolton. Bolton, nice pass over to Cranges, and a rebound shot and a goal for the Spartans, as that was Joas who was out in front. And Aurora continuing to add to their lead, 13-4 Spartans. Joas with his third goal of the matchup.
Spartan goal, scorer number 51, Griffin Joas.
A pair of hat tricks leading the way for Aurora. We got Bucci with a hat trick, and now Joas with his third goal of the matchup. And the Spartans lead it by 9 with 11-14 and counting to go. It just seems Edgewood, whenever Aurora gets that ball deep in front of the net, in front of Searles, the Eagles are just having a hard time adjusting. Not really able to get any deflections. And Searles, who has had a few saves today that have been worth noting, those reflexes appear they've slowed down here in the third quarter. Maybe Aurora, they've just sped up their process offensively. And now here's Griffin Joas. Joas over to Rylan Pura. Pura to Bolton. And you see Aurora again now getting into their set as Bolton looks over the sideline. He gets the ball from Forstall. Bolton passes it up to Cranches. Back up top to Forstall. Forstall had his path to the net deterred for a brief moment there by Alec Maurer. Maurer's had a couple of notable defensive plays for Edgewood. Spencer over to Forstall. Forstall, I was about to say he had a few stutter step maneuvers there, but he sort of slipped on the turf as he tried to finalize his decision of what he wanted to do with the ball there. Joas goes over to Spencer, and Spencer, much as we just said, we had a slip. Spencer goes down, but now Joas and Spencer, they absolutely sandwich Hanrahan, and they dispossess him of the ball, and they get the ground ball pickup. Forstall. Forstall just played in behind the cage here. This is Rylan Pura. Back up top to Forstall. You hear one of the coaches, I believe that was the Edgewood, saying let's communicate defensively here. Here is Joas. Joas tried to go inside. He had Bolton out in front of the cage. Ball goes long, out of play, but Aurora will maintain possession as they're able to get Pura to that back line. Owen Spencer. Spencer with a nice maneuver. Quick pass inside. That was a good setup for Cranches, but he couldn't get the goal. Good save from Searles. Once again, he's had his fair share. But if you just continue to allow the opposing team to get as many shots as possible on that net, eventually they'll break through. And Aurora has broken through 13 times thus far. Spartans working outside. Edgewood really just looking for one stop so they could finally take that ball to the other side of the field, but they've been unsuccessful in doing so here. Forstall, quick pass, the shot off the crossbar. That was a rocket from Spencer. He's had his fair share as well of goals in the matchup. He's had a couple of impressive shots. He had one earlier where he shot it wide left. That one, not so much wide, just a little too high. 50 on the shot clock. It's been Strub. Strub gave it up, and now Aurora with Bucci. Over to Forstall. They go in behind the net again to Pura. And a whistle, as that ball goes out of play, it'll go to Edgewood. Zane Neville. Neville to Stitch. Stitch with a long pass, and that's going to go right to the Edgewood sideline, turning it over to Aurora. Another one of those tough passes for the Edgewood Eagles where they're just trying to cover a lot of ground with one lengthy pass. That is the 19th turnover of the matchup for Edgewood. 19 in comparison to 17 for Aurora. Here come the Spartans. A bit of a long hold out high by Bucci. Bucci finding Forstall. Strub back to Forstall. He had the shooting angle but didn't like the shot. He instead passes off to Bucci, who takes the shot and is saved by Searles. Easy save. That was really just a straight line, almost like they were playing catch. Alec Maurer. Maurer dispossessed. That was Griffin Joas who knocked the ball free. Maurer went down, and now Edgewood able to come up with the ball. Meanwhile, out near midfield, Maurer is upset after he was knocked down by Joas. And I apologize, I missed who that was for Aurora. They had the breakout. But I think that may have been Bucci who sort of ran over Maurer as he was trying to get up the field. Maurer felt as if he was maybe hit a little bit too late there. Joas did a good job of dispossessing him of the ball, but there was plenty of extracurricular contact between the two. And then once Maurer hit the ground, Bucci was just trying to get towards the net. He ran over Maurer. And Maurer, once he got up, he took his helmet off and began screaming not only at the official, but also in the direction of both Bucci and Joas. And so as a result, Maurer's going to spend some time on the sideline here. 7:34 to go in the third quarter. As they're going to send Maurer to the sideline. And I thought maybe it was going to be a man up. I thought we were going to get a man advantage here for Aurora. As now the officials having a word with both head coaches, Reed Mayberry of the Aurora Spartans and, of course, Garrett Wolford of the Edgewood Eagles. Garrett Wolford in his 4th season. And action continues with Aurora in possession here with 7.5 minutes to go in the third quarter. Owen Spencer. Spencer working towards the net. That shot goes wide right for Spencer. Aurora has a player on the back line. It's Luke DuPont. DuPont has it out for Aurora. Now they play it back over to Bolton. Bolton looking for DuPont. That one taken away. Nice catch out of the air by Edgewood, is able to get the stop defensively. That was Zane Neville. Neville quickly gave it to Searles, who hit Stitch. And now Edgewood trying to work the ball up the field with Luke Quackenbush. Edgewood in their offensive zone really for the first time here in the third quarter. They have to make the most out of every opportunity at this point. They're down 9 with 6.5 minutes to go in the third quarter. Again, time becoming an enemy for the guys wearing red. The Edgewood Eagles, the 8th seed in the NAC. 5-10 on the season, 4-7 in NAC conference play. Should this result hold, this would be the end of the road for Edgewood, and Aurora would host Lake Forest in the semifinals. Let's see if Edgewood can get one last gasp effort. That's sort of been the theme across the quarterfinal matchups today. The team that's been trailing going into the fourth quarter, putting up 4, 5 goals in the fourth quarter. Ball gets knocked loose, and it'll go to Aurora with 5:49 to go in the third quarter. That aggressive Spartan defense. It's been a key reason why the Spartans have won all 11 conference matchups they've been in this season. It's the big reason why they are the top overall seed in NAC men's lacrosse. Bit of a miscommunication there, however, as Jasper was trying to find Strub. Strub actually running the ball down, and he took some contact, but it will go over to Edgewood. So the Eagles, again, an opportunity to take over on offense. But again, they have to maximize opportunities here with 5 minutes and counting. Maddox Tashinsky gives it up to Lake Rui. Rui bodied up defensively by Zach Klug. And the ball scooped up again by Tashinsky. Tashinsky met one-on-one by Easton Larson. Tashinsky tried to go inside, had a couple of Spartans collapse on him. Good job defensively as Romaker comes up with the ground ball pickup, and he runs out of traffic for the Spartans, trying to clear, and is successful as Romaker, as now Aurora on their offensive side of the field. Luke DuPont. DuPont in the middle of the field tries to center the ball, but really no lane as he's met by 3 Eagles. Chris Bucci. Bucci over to Leader and right back. Vice versa, now Leader gets it and gives it over to Strub. And now Strub with Zane Neville awaiting his movement. Neville trying to deter his path to the net. A pass goes outside and a shot and goal for Luke DuPont as he scores to give Aurora a 10-goal advantage. The Spartans lead it 14-4 with 4:08 to go here in the third quarter. Aurora, the number 1 seed, certainly looking like the favorite at this point of the matchup to move on to take on the Lake Forest Foresters. It's been all Spartans here in the third quarter. They have dominated. They've dominated the time of possession and now dominating on the scoreboard. It was 8-4 at halftime. Aurora with all 6 third quarter goals. Owen Spencer. Now Spencer gives it up here to Connor Stockton. Ball played back to Weishuttle. Aurora, there's such a deep roster as well. A number of players getting some burn here in this NAC quarterfinal matchup. Luke DuPont in behind to Weishuttle. Ball goes outside to Weishuttle, who gave it up quickly to Jasper. Wide shadow working over to Stockton. Stockton trying to work one-on-one here against Stitch. Good help defense provided by Mandile. Stitch, instead of scooping up the ball, just knocked it out from in front of the net, forcing Aurora to make a long pickup with Spencer. Here's Spencer now, working towards the net. He eludes one defender, but he was forced back to the outside. That was Ryan Hanrahan who picked up after Spencer was able to get away from Maurer. This is now Meyer who goes to the front of the net. Nice save again by Searles. That was a good idea from Meyer. I thought he actually may have beaten Searles. He tried to bounce it home, but was unsuccessful. Bodying up on the ball now is Stockton, and Stockton wins possession for Aurora. And now Edgewood comes out of traffic with possession with Zane Neville, and now Logan Searles has it. It's taking Edgewood quite some time just to get set now, and there's another one of those cross-field passes. Orozco has a pair of goals, both of those goals back in the first quarter. Seems like a long time ago compared to what we've seen since, and of course when you look at the scoreboard. Those goals early on helped Edgewood pull within one, and there was a point where it was 3-2. We had a pivotal draw control. Aurora won that draw control, went right to the net, and extended their advantage. That was one of 3 times the Spartans were able to double up the Eagles on the scoreboard. 4-2, 6-3, and 8-4 were the 3 times today. Good battle there for Spokley. Austin Spokley won the ball, but then he had it dispossessed by Tashinsky of Edgewood. Hanrahan going long. He had a man in Tyler Stockwell. Stockwell unable to control it. I said it may have been Rui. Rui and Stockwell were both down the field. It was Rui who had it briefly. Rui was looking for Stockwell as he went across the field, and now Stockwell has a man go around him as Aurora gets to their offensive zone. 1 minute remaining in the third quarter. Here's Chris Bucci. Bucci with a hat trick already. He passes it off to Weiss, and his shot goes wide. Aurora on the back line as they have DuPont. DuPont with the most recent goal in the matchup for Aurora. Up top to Bucci. It's Carson Leader. Leader looking to get past Borgard.